He may run for the Senate from a state in which he's never lived. Maybe anybody can run for anything. But Donald Trump for president? Is that carrying things a bit too far? Our next guest doesn't think so. Joining us from Minneapolis, Minnesota, the national co-chair of Trump 2000, a grassroots organization encouraging Trump to run for president, Tim Whitcomb. Excuse me, Tim. Thanks for coming on, Tim. Now, Tim, the floor manager, David, just had a frightening thought. If Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, is he going to change the name of the White House to Trump Towers?
I don't believe that would be what he would do.
All right. Well, we got that out of the way. Now let's talk about the other issue. Why does he want to run?
We're not quite sure why he wants to run. We think that those issues are something Mr. Trump should answer. But it does seem that his issues, you know, he's definitely been talking about issues that are in line with the Reform Party. He's opposed, been very outspoken against NAFTA. He's opposed term limits. I'm sorry, he's been for term limits in Congress, and both at a federal and state level. And he's been, made some cryptic comments in Newsweek that actually got us involved. We thought that his comments stating that he wasn't sure if he was going to run, not saying that he would, not saying he wasn't, was definitely an indication. We did some research on the internet and found that his issues were quite in line with the Reform Party. And we think he's a viable candidate.
But Tim, you have to be realistic about this. I mean, you have George W. Bush with a campaign chest of I don't know how many millions of dollars now. You have a vice president of the United States who's planning to run, and then Donald Trump.
Well, I think that's exactly what, as far as I'm concerned, and the people involved with this movement, is that we're looking exactly for that, a non-politician to seek the office, one that's not bought and paid for. He has no special interests. He has his own
wait,
money.
let me just stop you right there, Tim. There are a lot of people who say all of those deals that he made in Atlantic City, boy, somebody must have something on him in some way. I mean, you say he has no special interest pushing for him, but he's got special interests all over the place.
Well, I don't know if that's the case. I mean, the New Jersey Gambling Commission is the most regulated, or the gambling industry is the most regulated industry in the nation. And he had to go through quite a bit. I think it was very publicized that...
Well, I'm not saying he did anything illegal. I'm just saying that the way you operate down there is by making friends and making deals.
I'm not aware of any of those activities.
All right. Well, making deals, I mean, if there's any place in the world you want to make a deal, it's in Atlantic City or Las Vegas, and clearly he knows how to do it. But the question of why somebody who's been a millionaire for so much of his life, who doesn't seem to have this sort of folksy approach, I mean, let's face it, Ross Perot is a billionaire, but he seems to have more of a folksy approach. He seems to know how to hit a nerve with a common man. Donald Trump, I've never seen any indication the same is true with him.
Well, I think he's been, touted in the media as a successful businessman, and that's what was interesting to us. As none of us have had a conversation with him, I think that's difficult to say. I've never met the man personally, so it'd be interesting to see how he does react. This is a very grassroots organization, the Reform Party, that is, we've garnered actually quite a bit of support at the Reform Party National Convention for him. I believe he took second in a straw poll that the Detroit Free Press ran. So there's definitely interest there. His issues are in line with what we're looking for, and we feel he's a viable candidate, not only to gain and secure the 5% that the Reform Party needs to maintain its federal funding, but we think he's a winnable candidate and definitely offers a viable alternative.
Well, let me throw another winnable candidate at you. What about Jesse Ventura? I know he's reluctant to run, but maybe if you tried to draft him, you might be able to convince him.
Well, we have a tremendous amount of respect for Jesse Ventura in our party, and he clearly stated, and we have a tremendous amount of respect for his response, and that I just got the governorship of Minnesota. Let me do my job. So he has no designs on using this as a stepping stone immediately into the presidency. He wants to work as governor, and we have a lot of respect for that. And if we had any indication otherwise, we may have pursued that.
But it's kind of a strange deal, this Donald Trump thing. You haven't been in touch with him, and yet you're the co-chair of Trump 2000.
Right.
Don't you think that before you try to get somebody to run for president, you have some inkling as to whether he wants to?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out. That was the initiative that my partner Ira Cohen and I discovered. We're trying to find out. He's made the comments in the press, and he's also made indications that his issues are in line with our party. We believe that he's a strong candidate, and
okay.
we'd like to hear that. So yes.
Well, Tim, good luck to you. The more competition, the tighter the race. It should be an interesting one. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.